So I got to play Sonic Racing CrossRoads early.
Okay, this is embarrassing. For some reason, I called this game Sonic Racing CrossRoads the entire time in this video. So I know it's Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Just bear with me. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
Which is something I haven't been able to do for years. The first game that I got to play early was the Uncharted 4 beta for the multiplayer back in 2016 when it came out. And obviously that was an open beta, so this is kind of a new thing for me. Closed betas, I've never been a part of them. I'm actually not much of a multiplayer guy myself. I mainly play single-player games, hence why Uncharted 4 is the greatest game of all time. That aside, I'm just not much of a multiplayer gamer myself, especially when it comes to competitive. But that being said, I am very much looking forward to Sonic Racing CrossRoads, so the ability to be able to play this early and give you guys my thoughts, that's pretty cool. So, new ventures, let's talk about it. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to talk about the presentation of the game, the music and sound design, the customizability, and then the gameplay, the part you guys all want to hear about. So first things first, presentation. The menu design, it's kind of nothing special, nothing really to write home about, but it is in, closed beta, or it was in closed beta, so obviously there's plenty of room to improve or polish things, whatever. But as is, it looked fine. It got the job done. There was this neat thing with clicking on one of the options where Dodonpa actually showed up from Team Sonic Racing, which is a character I never thought would come back, but he's here, and he's cute. I like him, so I'm not complaining. But anyway, the menu design, it's fine for what it is. I think it could use some improvement, but it, again, beta, so there's only so much I can complain about here. Now, in terms of graphics, this game honestly looks great, with a little bit of an asterisk. I think all of the character models look great. I do think Sonic is in a bit of a need for a redesign as the main character of the series, but a lot of people agree with that. That's a whole tangent and possibly a whole other video in the future. But generally speaking, all of the character designs and all of the models, they look great. They definitely look the best that they've looked in years. And then we get over to the track design. Graphically, it's gorgeous. Some of these new tracks that we've never seen before in previous Sonic racing games are really like sights to behold. Water Palace and I forget the Wonder Museum, I think that's what it's called. Those are particular highlights for me. Just graphically, gorgeous. I love what they're doing here. They're tackling new things, and I love it. It looks beautiful. Now, here's the asterisk. Obviously, with these kinds of games, sometimes you need to cut corners to be able to save on memory so that these games can run well. But the Chow JPEGs, PNGs, whatever, they look bad. They run at like 3 frames per second, and they don't look great, obviously. I'm kind of hoping that gets changed in the future. It's not a huge deal, but it does kind of bother me every time they're on the screen, and I love Chow, so it shouldn't bother me when the Chows are on screen, but, very nitpicky, I guess. Also, I'm sorry, does anybody else just get a little angry whenever they see these Forces avatar characters? I don't know. The less I'm reminded of Forces, the better. Yeah. Moving on to animation, I actually thought the animations were great. It's really great to finally be able to see these characters emote in really expressive ways. All of the characters have these really nice animations that honestly, when you're playing the game, you don't really notice them because you're paying attention to so many other things going on the screen at a time. But they're really expressive, really neat. I really like this finger wag thing that Sonic does every time you, do something. I guess pass someone. It's really neat. It's really cool. I do think that some of the idle animations are a little strange, like Omega. He just kind of like hops up and down in his seat. Very weird, but Not necessarily bad, just odd. That being said, I'm happy with what we've got so far. Let's move on to the music and sound design. Generally, the sound effects are pretty good. A little overwhelming at times. All of the voice lines are really good too.
Let's go! Attention! Come on! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Yes!
Does anybody else think that Eggman is starting to sound a lot like...
Who posted my nudes on Twitter.com? Yes!
But all the voice lines are great. I love them. Sound effects are great. I love them. But then we get over to the music. The music is a little bit of a mixed bag for me. It's kind of complicated though. The compositions themselves are actually really good, really great. It's just one choice that really bothers me, and that's the choice to use these really synth, fake sounding chorus vocals. Every time I boot up this game and it gets to that part, it's a little hard. It's a little grating on the ears, I'm not going to lie. And I wasn't the only one either, because my girlfriend decided to join me in playing this game, and she felt the same exact way, if not worse about it. I really hope that they change this for the final release. It's very grating to the ears. I really don't like it. But like I said, the music compositions themselves are really good. Now we get to customizability. This is a real highlight of this game. First, we'll start with the shape of the cars. We have very limited options, obviously, with it being a closed beta and everything. But what's here is very cool because the two options that we have for each car type are very different from one another, which is what you want. You want lots of different options and distinct options. You don't want everything to look the same, right? So being able to pick and choose the shapes of your car, you know, the front, the back, whatever else, and having it look so different from everybody else's with your different combinations and everything, it's very neat. And I hope that there are lots and lots and lots of customizability options in that regard, because from what I can see so far, pretty cool. I really like it. The paint options are also really great because it's not just applying a coat of paint to the entirety of your car. The exterior, the accent, the interiors, and even the interiors are split up into their own little categories. It's really neat. It's a really cool way to personalize your vehicle. You can make some really interesting combinations with it too. Like here, for example, I made Eggman his own latte mobile as a representation of the movie, and I was very proud of it. So yeah, really cool, really loved it. Then we get over to the stickers. I really like the stickers. There was this one that I wanted so bad, but I had to get to a certain level, and I did it, motherfuckers. I fucking did it. I got that sticker and I plastered it right here on this fucking car. Look how cool that looks. I hope there's lots and lots and lots of different sticker options. One thing I would love for them to do, I don't know how they would do it, but I would love for the ability to create my own sticker, but you do kind of run into the problem of like people creating like penises and stuff like that, which will inevitably happen if you can create your own sticker. But I don't know, maybe there's some way they can get around that. I don't know. Obviously, you know, drawing with an analog stick on a PlayStation 5 isn't ideal or anything like that. I don't know. I feel like there's some kind of way they could do this where you could create your own sticker so that your car truly looks unique. So if there's any possibility of that, that would be great. Just no penises, please, for the love of God. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for, gameplay. Let's start with the different car types. So first, you've got speed. Speed was my least favorite personally. It's the fastest, but the handling was a little tough to get used to. Very, very wide turning. Definitely not my favorite, but with some adjustment, I feel like this could be really good. I definitely shouldn't have started out with this car type though, because my first race was a disaster and really embarrassing. So, you know, not my favorite. Then we've got acceleration. To be honest, I don't really know what that means. Like, do you just accelerate quicker than the other car types. I have no idea. I haven't looked up anything about this game because I would like to stay spoiler free generally, and that includes gameplay mechanics. I would just rather figure them out myself. But whatever it is, I felt like this one had the best balance of everything. Fair turning range, good speed. This one is absolutely my favorite. This became my go-to for every single race if I wanted to have the best shot at winning, essentially. Then we have the handling type. This is exactly what it sounds like. This one handles super well. Great turning across the board. It was my favorite until I found out about the acceleration type. I do feel like the acceleration type handles very well, and I almost feel like the handling type is a little redundant because of that. I don't know, maybe you guys feel different from me, but either way, I mean, it's a good type. I really liked it a lot. Probably my second favorite. Then we have the power type, which is the type that I really thought I wouldn't like, but turns out I liked it quite a bit. It was really fun to toggle that on, every now and then. It is a little confusing. I don't really know all the ins and outs of it. Is it like Team Sonic Racing where you can like drive through obstacles and stuff like that? I have no idea. I don't think I tested it out that much, but it does feel big, bulky, heavy, but not in a bad way. You get used to it and you can really work with it and have fun with it. I'm sorry I'm being very vague about this one. I don't really know what differentiates it all that much, but it was fun to play and it did feel different. Now let's move on to the racing itself. Matchmaking was fairly consistent, only had a few times where it timed out. The first day, I generally match made with people that I felt like were about my skill set, and it was pretty good. Day 2 and beyond, though, is a much different story. Definitely had some players that just flat out no-lifed this game and wiped the floor with me. Sometimes it felt a little unfair, but I'll get to that more so in a little bit. Racing on the ground, it's a blast. It's so fun. It feels lightning fast. The track designs obviously help a lot. It feels great. It handles great. I really love Team Sonic Racing, probably more than most, honestly. And this felt like a good continuation of that. I've played a little bit of, All-Stars Racing Transformed and the one that came out before that. This feels like a good continuation of Team Sonic Racing's mechanics, racing on the ground wise. It felt really good. I don't really know what else to say about it. Racing on the ground, awesome. Loved it. The flight controls, though, it definitely needs a lot of work. Did anybody else struggle with this? I feel like it doesn't matter what direction I push on the analog stick. I'm not going there unless I hold down the drift button. And I don't really know what the drift button is doing either, because when I hold down to the drift button, it's not like I start drifting in the air. I feel like I'm turning my car without actually heading in that direction. It's when you let go of the drift button that you launch in a certain direction, but I was never able to get a hang of this. It felt awkward. It felt weird. Anytime I was in the air, I actually hated it. It was terrible. This needs the most work. I don't know if I'm in the minority of saying that, but that was my experience with it. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. It was pretty bad. The boat controls felt pretty decent, though. I don't really understand the point in the hopping mechanic. See, normally when you're on the ground, you just hold the button to drift and you drift. But for some reason, when you transform onto a boat on the water, you can hold down the drift and you don't really drift. Instead, you're like building up your drift meter. And when you let go of it, you have this hop and boost. But I just don't understand the point of the hop. I don't know. I mean, I know there are these targets sometimes that you can go through that would require like a hop and you can have a little boost. But is that literally it? Like, I have no idea. But I don't really understand the point of the hop. But the boat controls are pretty good. Items. It's a pretty good selection. You can have 2 at a time. You can even start with 2 or 1 or... I don't really know how this whole mechanic works. It wasn't explained very well, but you can have 2 at a time. And yes, some of them are just flat out ripped out of Mario Kart. But what are you going to do? I mean, there are so many kart racers out there, and Mario Kart has obviously perfected the items, and so like there's only so much you can do with a kart racer, so I'm not really complaining about that. I also really like that you can use some items to deflect other items. It adds a really neat bit of strategy to a race. Like, for example, if someone is to use a warp ring on me, which basically makes the person land on top of me, and I slow down and they take my spot in the line of the race. If I have a warp ring, well, it cancels that out and it doesn't slow me down, and that's really great. Really neat. I really liked that. The distribution of the items, though, felt a little spotty. I felt like I kept getting either the boxing glove, the warp ring, or the boost wisps. Those were really the only ones that I felt like I kept getting. Occasionally I would get the drill wisp, then sometimes I would get this monster truck item, and I gotta be honest, the monster truck item, when I saw the gameplay trailer for this game, I really thought I would like the monster truck item, but it lasts like 3 seconds, man, and it feels weird to drive. I couldn't get the hang of it, and it's nice, it's satisfying to run people over, but I feel like the hitbox was off. I felt like sometimes I would blatantly run people over and they wouldn't flatten like they're supposed to. So maybe that needs a little bit of tweaking, and also just increase the duration of that item, because 3 seconds really isn't enough time. Maybe it's longer than that, but that's what it felt like. Also, can you switch between 2 items? Because I don't think the game ever explained that to me. It's kind of weird to just have 2 items with you, but not the ability to switch them out at any given time. Unless you can. I have no idea how to do it, though. I have no idea if I can do this or not. Another thing, I noticed this glitch that when it happened was absolutely infuriating. Sometimes I would get hit with an item and it would completely turn my car around. I don't think that's intentional, and if it is, it really needs to be axed, because turning your car around basically ensures that you're going to be in 12th place and not going to be able to catch up. All of the other cars are way faster than you already, because you have to re-accelerate and reach your top speed again. And unless you get lucky with a warp ring, there is no way that you're catching up. This happened to me quite a few times, and every single time I was either dead last or I got lucky with a warp ring right at the end. All right, now we're going to get to the track design. Again, graphically, it's beautiful, but how do they play? They're pretty fucking cool. Metal Harbor is a fucking blast. I mean, I love the stage from SA2, and it's beautifully recreated here. And also, I just gotta say, really cool to see these robots in HD walking around. I don't know, did anybody else get that feeling? Because, oh, man, I saw them and I was like, nostalgia. It looks good. But Metal Harbor, great stage, lots of turns and twists and launching up and doing tricks, and it's a fun time. Ocean Palace was really fun. The museum, I mean, what a spectacle. It's so much fun. I love these sharp turns where you drift around the corner, and it's so chaotic. It's so fun. I also love these frontier statues with these platforms that you can flip off of if you're careful about it. Very cool. I really like it. The Water Palace, probably my favorite. I don't know what to say about it. Just look at the gameplay. Like, it's just a fun map. I really, really adore it. My least favorite was probably this one, though. Rainbow something. I don't know, something about it. Also, people like select this one all the time. Maybe I just got tired of it. I don't know. And then you've got the main gimmick to this game, the warp rings. If you're in first place before you hit these warp rings, you can decide between 2 rings where to warp to in the race. And this mechanic is really neat, and I really like it, but the novelty kind of wore off for me really quickly. I don't know if it's just because we're limited on tracks here with this being a closed beta and all, but either way, I did feel myself getting kind of tired of it, especially when you're not in first place and there's like a track that you really want to play through, but of course they pick the other one, or they pick random and it's not the one you want. It's a little frustrating when it comes to that, but I definitely felt fatigue playing through some of these tracks over and over and over again. I forget the name of this stage, though, but the dinosaur stage, what a sight to behold. This is really something special. I don't think I'll ever get tired of going here. Seeing those dinosaurs, man, so fucking cool. I really should go back and play Sonic and the Secret Rings because I never actually played that game, and it's one of the few that I haven't. It looks pretty fun. All right, so what are my thoughts overall? Well, day one was a great experience. Even though it can be a little chaotic sometimes, it still felt fair, and I was having a ton of fun. Day two, though, oh my god, dude, I can't see where I'm going. What is going on? Oh my god, holy shit, holy shit, my god, I can't catch a fucking break. Okay, I'm finally in first place. Let's do this. Let's get into... What the fuck? Where the fuck did he even come from? Jesus Christ, I have no idea what happened. Did people just no-life this game in under 24 hours? Because, like, damn, it went from chaotic to absolute clusterfuck really fast. It gets so overwhelming at times that I have no idea what's going on. Not to sound like a sore loser or anything, but I went from either winning every other match or placing fairly high to being either the lower half or dead last pretty consistently. Like, did people just get that good at this game, or did matchmaking fuck up somehow? I have no idea. I know some of you will just tell me to get good, but guys, I really like showering. I really like not stinking. I'm not gonna do that, okay? I'm fairly casual when it comes to multiplayer games, like I said, so that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to have a good time. I definitely felt myself getting very frustrated at the game day 2 and beyond. Again, I don't know what happened. I don't know if matchmaking fucked up, but man, again, I would describe day 2 and beyond as clusterfuck. But day 1, I had so much fun, and this really made me excited for the game. I can't wait for this game to come out and play it with friends and just play match after match after match, and especially if there are more track designs and more warp ring designs and stuff like that, and especially if, you know, little things get fixed here and there. That's going to be awesome. This is going to be an awesome game to play with friends. But the honest to God biggest issue that I have here is, where the fuck is the extreme gear? Come on, Sega. You know that's what we're excited about. If you included the extreme gear here in this closed beta, people would lose their fucking minds. That's like half the reason why I'm buying the game. I really hope that the extreme gear doesn't just handle the same way as the vehicles, because that would be a big waste. I think that would be a mistake, because what made Sonic Riders so great as a 2-game franchise, no, I do not count Free Riders, was that it was so different from other racing games, mascot racing games, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It was so different mechanically, not just, you know, aesthetically. It was so different, it controlled so different, it played so different, and it made it really neat. So I'm interested to see how they're going to be incorporated here, and I hope they're incorporated in a very unique way. Please, please, please don't let it just be like a cosmetic thing. Really try to make this unique. That being said, once again, I'm so excited for this game. It's going to be so much fun, especially if they iron out all of these little issues and just polish it up and really just get it ready for release. And you know what? I will definitely be doing a review on this when it comes out. In the meantime, though, I'm thinking about going back to all of the other Sonic racing games and maybe doing a little retrospective review series on each and every single one of them. Aside from those ones on the fucking Game Gear, I'm not playing those. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll have those videos out whenever I get to them, I guess. But like I said, before Sonic Racing CrossRoads comes out. Once again, really excited, and thank you so much for watching. And if you want to, you can click on this video here where I talked about the hidden brilliance of the Sonic movies. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye.